Sure. So first of all, I'm very happy to be here. Nice to meet you all. My name is Rotem Ravid-Elam. I am head of product at Intsite. We are a startup company founded about 3 years ago here in Israel. And today I will show you a little bit about what we do, how we do it, and some case studies. Please feel free, at the end of my presentation, I'll have my email address. Please feel free to send me an email for questions, comments, anything you might want to speak to me about. I'll be more than happy to hear from you all. So first of all, about Intsite. We are commercialized in Israel. We have several strategic partnerships. One of our relationships are with Komatsu, which is the leading heavy machinery manufacturer based in Japan. We're also members of the Global European Committees for Standardization in Europe, and we're supported by the European Commission. So we're currently commercialized in Israel, as I said, but we're looking to commercialize in Europe this year. So who's our team? Other than me, myself, which you've already met, we have Tzach and Mor Ramon. These are twin brothers, so it's not a mirror image. It's actually two separate people. Tzach is our co-founder and CEO, and Mor is our co-founder and CTO. We have experts from the self-driving cars and aerospace industries, and 97% of us are STEM professional graduates. So what are we looking to solve at Intsite? The problem is actually that there's insufficient productivity and hazardous surroundings that cause cranes to become the bottleneck of the construction process. So currently there are over 300,000 cranes that lack tech innovation worldwide. These are huge towers that sit in the middle of the construction site, and they are many times very dated and lack very much the basic technologies that would allow them to work at their best. This allows for $3.5 billion in annual costs of downtime for tower cranes, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. And actually, if we're talking safety, incidences range, at least in Europe, they're within $100,000 to $200,000 if you count the actual incident itself, everything that surrounds it, with the insurance and the downtime and everything that happens. So it's very costly, and we're also looking to provide a solution for that. So what do we do? Everything I'm going to show you is applicable to different kinds of machines. I will talk mostly about the cranes in my case study, but please keep your mind open. So first and foremost, we put off-the-shelf camera on the jib of the crane. And all of this data that we accumulate from the pictures with our computer vision and artificial intelligence algorithms, we're able to process all this information and provide a slew of solutions. So these I will speak about at length in a minute, but in short, they're real-time operational and safety alerts. We also have reports and analytics. We provide a solution for geofencing, and all of this comes packaged in a really nice web-based platform, which allows our users to come in from any point, from any place on Earth, and look at what's happening on their site. So I'll talk a little bit about our solution in detail. First of all, we have our Foresight System, which is our system that allows heavy machines, if you will, sort of like it's an ADAS technology for heavy machines. So it gives productivity and safety solutions within the solution, and it allows for data-driven decision making. CloudSite is the output of our Foresight system, and it gives the management teams, the site management teams, the ability to see all of this information on a very usable web-based platform. So as I said, the applications are vast. We can go for construction cranes, which is what we're doing here in Israel. We're also on earth moving and mining machines, which we're doing in Japan and here in Israel as well. But it can be applicable also to port cranes, buses and coaches and trucks. So we're very, we have a lot of different applications, not just on actual construction sites. So this is an example of our algorithm at work. As you can see, we can detect different objects from under the crane in real time. We can also detect workers. And I'll show you a little bit about the applications of this algorithm and what we use it for. But this gives you a general idea. Another thing we know to do is guidance and trajectory. So we know where the crane is and where it needs to go, and we're able to provide the crane operator with a screen that looks like this. He has full HD capacities. He can zoom in and zoom out, and he has all kinds of features which he can use in order to create a more efficient and safer workspace. Zoning, geofencing is another thing we do. I'll talk about it a little bit later, but I just want you to see the way that it appears on the operator screen. So each time that the staff on the ground has a change in terms of zoning, or there's somewhere that they don't want the crane to go, they're able to update it, and the crane operator receives an update on his screen in the form of a map, and he is updated to where he should not be going. This increases both efficiency and safety. Actually, what happens when there is a forbidden zone is that the crane operator receives an alert. As you can hear, the alert is when he's approaching, and then once he's in the forbidden zone, he hears the alert at a faster speed. Okay, so the next thing that we do is the Foresight System, as I said. So this is the web-based platform. You can log in through cloudsight.ai. It's all obviously by authorization only. So every user receives a username and password, and the company for which they work allots them the features and the data that they are able to see. We are GDPR compliant, and we give Livestream, real-time notifications, usage reports, analytics. I'll show you a little bit about that now. This is our dashboard. You're able to see notifications, Livestream. The notifications that you see can be custom made to the customer wants and needs. Some examples of notifications are if the crane is out of zone, if it just started, if there is someone under the crane not wearing a helmet. And all of these notifications are available both on the web-based platform, but also sent to WhatsApp or SMS or WeChat at the customer's discretion. And they are able to receive only the notifications that they want in real time. So it's really sort of an assistant on site. Another thing we do is site maps. So we show the progress of the site over time, and we're able to show how the site has changed and evolved. This is the zoning feature on the side of the ground staff, and they're able to come into this web-based platform and choose the polygons for which they want to create a forbidden zone, and then the crane operator receives a notification that he's not allowed to go into these zones. If he does enter the zone or if he approaches it, the ground staff can choose to receive a notification saying that this occurred, so that they can really track and trace the things that are happening on site, and they can really be more hands-on without having to be actually on site. Another thing we do is live stream. So we allow the customers to look, the users to look at what's happening under the crane in real time, and video playback, because they could play back to a certain time and date and see what happened at that time and date. This is an example of our reports, and I would like to go into some case studies. So one case study that we did in the UK is, again, in the form of push notifications, is that our algorithm found, as you can see, there are 3 people here standing on these wooden beams, 2 of which are not wearing a vest, 1 of which is not wearing, is standing right near a shaft. So he's literally 1 step away from falling down a shaft and perhaps breaking his neck, unfortunately. So we were able to really provide the ground staff with a clear notification telling them that this was going on, and they were able to act in real time. This is another example of our real-time notifications. This is a safety warning that involves a person in proximity to heavy machinery. So here we see that there are 2 examples of people near the heavy machinery that our cameras detected, and we were able to inform, this time in Israel in April, we were able to inform the ground staff that this was occurring so that they could take a look and make sure that everything was okay. And actually in this case study, what they did is they went into the live stream and they were looking at it. They were actually not on site at the time, and they went into the live stream and they looked at the video. So the cost of inefficiency is very high, as we said. This is an example of one of the graphs that we offer on our platform. And in our site for Mobileye, that's an Intel company in Israel, July and August, on the left side of the screen, you can see a graph that shows the hours for which the crane worked, the hours you can see on the bottom. And on the left, you see the minutes. So every line here is if the crane was idle or if it was moving. And you could see here on the left side of the screen, there weren't very many times where the crane was moving very much. And this happened a few weeks in a row. The ground staff took charge and they hired a new foreman. And what happened afterwards was amazing because they were able to really increase the throughput of the machine. So not only did they optimize the workflow, but they really gave the real-time actionable notifications, gave them the ability to increase the efficiency of the crane, this time by 19%. This is another example of something that we did in Komatsu in the test site in Osaka in July. And here we showed through our snapshots that we were able to see that our forklift was actually waiting, bucket loaded, for the truck to come. And this was really, this happened a few times, and this was really pushing back the timelines. So we were able to give the ground staff again here a notification that the dump truck is causing delays and it needs to speed up. So either they have to bring another dump truck or they have to awaken the driver because he's not doing his job like he should. One more case study that we had this time in July is that we were operating 2 tower cranes on a work site, and they wanted to take a 3rd tower crane. The daily cost in Israel is about $5,000 if we translate it to dollars. And the Foresight System allowed them to understand that the tower cranes were actually not working at full capacity. So they were working at about 78%, which means that they didn't need to take another crane. They just needed to increase the throughput of those cranes. And through our system, they were able to see where and when they could increase the throughput, and they eliminated the need of another mobile crane. So here the clear ROI is present. Another example of something that we did in March, this is at a hospital health tower that was building here in Haifa, is that the client was receiving daily penalties of about $10,000 because the project was being delayed, and they were having a very hard time with it. They were kind of breaking their heads as to why. And our Foresight system was installed, and we were able to show through our video playback and notifications that there was actually a neighboring crane that was causing delays because the fields in which they were working were overlapping. So the project owners were actually reimbursed, and we were able to give them an answer to this issue, and they were able to cut the penalties costs. So that's me. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed being here, and I will be very happy again. Like I said, please write my email down and email me. I'm more than happy to hear from you with any questions or comments.